Hello everyone, I'm Aditya from DesCo's UI team, and today we would be exploring the basic tools which are available in the Figma application. So first of all, obviously to work on a project, we must create a empty project, okay, empty project file, okay. So first of all, we would be clicking at the top right corner of our application on the click new button, okay. Then then we are going to select the design file option, okay. So there are three options here. If you want to import another design which someone has sent you, you would use the import button, but obviously we are going to create a new one, so we are going to click on design file. So a new design file would be created. So an empty design file would look like this, okay. in the lower in the lower dock we would be having our some tools, okay. At the left end we would be having properties of our project, and at the right end we would be having the properties of items which we select. We will look at this in our future, as we proceed in this our video. But first of all, I would be explaining you this, okay, like the project properties. So we could obviously change our name, so let's rename it to UI tutorial, okay. And it would be in your draft folder for now. Then we can add multiple pages. Like imagine you are making a cohesive UI, or you are like managing a UI for different, like a big project, okay. So you obviously you would have different flows, and you would have different like screen sizes. Like imagine you have one UI for phones only, then you have one UI for desktop. So you can like put them on another pages but on a single file only via this, okay. So if we click on this, you would have this another option, then another option, okay. Then you have to select one page, and then this is the empty canvas. The layers option will show the layers. Layers are basically like one thing over the top kind of structure. You put something on top of something, and that whole thing becomes a layer, independent layer, okay. So layering, why layering is important, okay. So you will also uh, go into very depth in Photoshop and other design tools, like why layers are important. But in Figma, layers are like just a layer, one on top of another. It like an onion peel. You can remove one if you don't like one, or you can like make changes to one of the layer, and it won't not affect the other layer, okay. So let's continue. So first of all, obviously to work on something we would need an object, an element. So to create an element, to create a frame, basically we would click on these region tools, okay. Then we have to select a frame, okay. So imagine you are designing for a laptop, so you would obviously select a MacBook Pro. Why you are going to select it? Because MacBook Pro, because this frame would be in according to size of a desktop, or in this case MacBook Pro 14-inch, okay. You could also have, let's see, we can click on page 2 and we can have for a mobile. So we have mobile like phone, then we could have it for iPhone. So let's select the iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max. Then this frame is size of iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max, okay. For let's you want to have a generic frame, okay, like you do not want to be constrained by these, so you can like just select this normally, and you can just create one, okay. So imagine you created one something like this, okay. So this is our frame, okay. So now we select this frame. Now we can obviously have selected an element on our screen. So as you can see, we have on the right panel, which I already told you at the beginning of session, is used for like seeing the properties of the element which we have selected. So as we have selected this frame, we are seeing its properties. So most, see, Also, most of the items would be available for every element, but some of the items may not be available for every element. Okay, so as it's a like a basic frame, or we can say the initial frame, it does not have an alignment properties. Why? Because it doesn't have anything to align with. Okay, so this alignment property works when you are aligning something to the other thing, like you are aligning a child object to a parent object. We would look in this when we are on this shape tools. So let's get with the frame first of all. So then we have positions are the position of this in this whole, like in this whole canvas, its position, relative position. So imagine if I change this value to 10, it's going to shift 10 from the x-axis. Okay, it's got shifted. Then let's see if I put it 100. So where it would go? It would go to the right side. It should go to the right side. See, it should go, it went right side. Okay, so it works like that. As we are coming like this, it's getting negative. Then we have going this, we have get going to positive side. Okay, then we have the y, same. Usually these position thing won't matter to you unless and until you are checking for where to put your rectangles or something in the future, like when you are going to make when you are going to have like UI tutorials on making logging screen or something which other people would like cover in their sessions. So in that it would matter. Okay, then we have transform. What does it do? It like rotates. So let's see, we put it 90. See, our frame is rotated by 90 degree. Let's change it back to 0. Obviously this transform can have value from 0 to 360 degree, obviously. So it also has minus value. Minus would means it rotates anti-clockwise. So minus 90, it goes anti-clockwise. Okay, so let's put it to 0. Then we have this rotate, similar flip. I would also show you, I would go into the details of this three tools when we are covering shape tools. Most of the things are important for shape tools because frames are usually not something which you like directly interact with. You usually put objects on it and then interact with it. Okay, like where you place objects here and there. Okay, now then we have effects, layout grid. Grid is something which you can apply. I mostly use this for like positioning my elements for certain area so that I can have a visual reference. Like if you like zoom, and how would you zoom? You would press control and then you would scroll using your mouse. Okay, first thing I would like to like tell you, you should have a mouse for Figma or any design tool. You should have a mouse. Okay, whether it's a wired or a non-wired mouse or wireless mouse, you must need a mouse. Okay, so obviously you can work for something like in the beginning with your trackpad if you're on laptop, but if you have mouse, the efficiency and the productivity would increase 10x. Okay, so I highly recommend you get a mouse. If you like if you ask me, I would prefer a wireless mouse. You can get one at like 200 300 rupees, but you can also use a wired mouse. Okay, so you would like press control and then you would scroll. Okay, scroll up and you would zoom. Okay, as you can see, as we scroll we can have these lines, and these lines would not show up in like in your project. So you can just, when you are done with it, you can just remove this grid via this minus button. Okay, okay, then we can also have, then imagine you want to like scroll horizontally. Obviously we can scroll like vertically, right? If we want to scroll horizontally, I might have messed up the horizontal or vertical, but if you want to scroll sideways, you just have to use, you have to just press shift and then you have to scroll. Okay, so this we would also cover another shortcuts and all as we go deep. So this was it for the layers or for the frame which I say. Now let's let's make something. Okay, so now we shall cover this, the rectangle or the shape tools. In fact, shape tools. Okay, so there are a lot of shapes. Obviously, rectangle means you can make rectangles and squares with it. Okay, the line tool is line tool and the arrow tool is like used for making arrows. The ellipse is used for making ovals and circles and other types of ellipse. And then there's a polygon tool. Polygon you can, like, you already know very well. Okay, and star tool. Okay, so first most used tool is obviously the rectangle and the ellipse tool. These two are used for most. Also the rectangles and every tool which you like till this star. Okay, these all are vectors. Okay, so there are two things, okay, in the design: vectors and like the static or png, you can say photo images. Okay, so which are also called rasterized. Okay, so what are rasterized means when you like zoom it or you like expand it, it would get blurry. But the vector are like lossless, they do not lose their quality when they are upscaled or like they are like zoomed. Okay, so these tools are vector. So first of all, obviously we would create a rectangle. So this is a rectangle. Okay, then obviously I told you na ki we have this grid. If we want to disable it, so let's select our frame. Let's select our frame and disable the grid. Okay, so we select our frame. How we are going to select it? We use this move tool, then select our frame, and then we are going to get on its properties which are at the right hand side, and then we are going to remove. Okay, so our frame is removed. Okay, our grid is removed. Okay, so we are going, let's make this thing a little darker. So obviously we can color our frame also. Let's make it like this so you can see it very well. Okay, yes, so this is our rectangle which is on a frame. Okay, so what we can do with it? Okay, so first of all, let's click on it. We click on it and then we can see its all of its like things which we can vary. So first we would be checking the alignment. Okay, so we, if we align it left, it would be aligned left. Okay, so when you move your frame, it would be still aligned to left. If you like expand it, it would be still there. If you do this, then it would be there. So basically align left will align it to its left. Okay, same align horizontal centers, it would align any object or element to the center, horizontal centers. And then there's aligned left, and then there is aligned top, then there's aligned vertical center. Okay, horizontal center would put it horizontally, and then there is a vertical center, and then there is aligned bottom. These all options are kind of subset of these constraints. Okay, these are like ready-made options. You can obviously modify it via the constraint. The position, yes. So now like position would be important obviously. So if we want to like put it a little left or right, usually you would be doing this via your mouse. But for precise, like imagine we are keeping the rectangle here. Hmm. So we are keeping rectangle in our like something here, but we want to shift it a little towards this side, left side. Okay, so what we will do, we will like put it and we would give it less, like we make it 20, then it shifts a little less. Obviously we can use our arrow keys also on our keyboard to shift it little left, little right, little up, and little down. Okay, then obviously we have the constraints. Okay, so what will constraint do? Imagine I want to make sure that this box, if I align this if I want to align this box here, and I want to make sure the box does not move anywhere. So what we will do, we will like make constraint this left, and then we will have the top left. Okay, we will make the constraint top left. So now Even if I make it larger or make it smaller or something, anything, move it somewhere, it would be always aligned to left. Imagine if it was not. So let's see. Okay, so let's align it to center. Okay, so I put it on top center. Okay, so it's now the both constraint, the horizontal and the vertical constraint are on its center. So if I move the frame sometimes, or if I see, if I dragging it down, if I'm making my frame longer, it is still in the center of our frame. So that's what constraints do. Constraints would align our object automatically or fix our object automatically with the respect of its bottom frame, or you can say back frame. Okay, then we have, obviously we have transform. So as you, let's make it a little more visible. Transform, let's make the transform a little, we would apply a gradient. Don't worry, it's just for your representation, so you can see the difference between the between your the left gradient and the the minus 90 and plus 90. Okay, so we have this gradient, and imagine if we put it 90, so how it's the image. Okay, so as you can see, the image flipped to clockwise, and if we put this again at 0, see, okay, so it moves like that. And when if I put 9 minus 90, then it's like that. Okay, so 0, then we have minus 90, so red would be at right side. See, so that's how you can do the rotation. And then we have like this, it basically flips, basically plus 90 minus 90, see, you can flip. And then there is this vertical, and for this I think you need to have this diamond, and then can have this, and then you can have this. Okay, so now see, mm, it's not being visible, but it's shifting, it's flipping itself front and back. Okay, so I can use this also. Yes, now I align it to its top. I align it to its top, align it to its left. Okay, so let's check this then. Okay, so it was fixed to it. Let's see, we put this, we see. Okay, so why it was not working, it was on the same frame. Okay, so we can have it like that. We can group it. Obviously, to group it we have to select, so we are going to press control, then we click on these both objects, and then we are going to group it. Okay, so group it, and then we are going to have it constrained, and then we are going to try it again. See, it's moving a little, है ना? So that's how it's working. Okay, see, it's doing something, right? I think if I maybe I do this, so you are going to say nah. So I think I may do this, then it could be visible. It's doing some work, but can we are not able to see it. uh, Maybe now you can see it. Yep, see, it's getting flipped vertically, right? So now you can see it. And then we have, obviously we have layout. So what would dimension, imagine I want to make it smaller, so I do it 100. It becomes smaller, its width becomes smaller, so W is for width and H is for height. Imagine I want to make it height also smaller, 20. Let's make it bigger again, so let's make it 400 wider, and height would be 500. So it has exceeded our frame, right? See, you can see as it was behind. See, it was under our frame here. So that's how it's getting cut. But as we pull it out, it gets bigger. So to accommodate, what we would do, we would make our frame a little bit longer, bigger. So now it's under it. Okay. Then we have, obviously we have fill. Okay. Then we have like, okay, so there's this opacity also. What will it do? Opacity would make your like object a little transparent. Okay, so imagine if I put, instead of 100, I put it this 50, so it would be like this. Let's put some color on our frame so that I can see it a little bit better. Imagine I put this here, and then I put this here, and then okay, the colors are not very good, but let's fix it. Yes, let's make it pink, and let's make this diamond a little better. Okay, the color selection is very bad, um we must have an idea. Let's make it opacity this, and then this green looks very bad. Can have something blue, and then we can have the gradient linear, and then the gray would be little this. It looks a little better. Okay, then this gray I can make it a little less, and then I can make it little this. So obviously the choice of colors, these are random, so it's a little messed up, but for explanation purpose it would work very well. So what would opacity do? Imagine if I put this opacity to, let's, right now it's 100, I put this 40, so it gets a little transparent. As you can see, we can see the background paint, right? So that's how this opacity thing works. Then we have this corner radius. Obviously, what the name says, oh, corner radius, obviously it going to make do something to our radius. Okay, corner radius. So right now, as you can see, again, to zoom, control and then scroll up and down to zoom in and zoom out, and you put the corner radius to, imagine, let's say 20. You see the radius is becomes a little bit circular. Okay, imagine you want to do it mouse, you want to use your eyes as a guidance. So what you do, you click on the rectangle, then at the corner you click, double click, see you have a radius option. Okay, so you can like drag and this. Okay, so you can do like this and see your whole radius is being changed. Okay, let's say you do not want to change every radius, so what you do, you would, right now what it's doing, it's changing every radius, right? So that's how you do it. And then let's see, you want to fill it with something. So imagine, so let's fill it with something. We put this color, like let's make it white, right? Look, white. So okay, so it's a white layer but transparent, so it's like its visibility is like this. Okay, so it's like becoming a little baby pink or some sort. And then we applied fill. We can have different type of fill also. We can make this fill like, we can hide this fill by clicking on this. So we can have another type of fill also. We can have, let's see, we can have gradient. We can obviously have gradient fill. Okay, then we want to adjust its opacity to 70, let's say. Okay, then we can also have picture fill. Okay, we can fill it with pictures. We can also fill it with videos. Okay, so these are all fills. Then you have stroke, and what does stroke do? Stroke would apply like borders. Okay, so as you know, our thing was grouped, right? these both, and we were selecting this, so our stroke is going to apply on both of these. Okay, imagine I only want to apply stroke on our rectangle too. Okay, so let's make I don't want, or imagine I don't want stroke on this bigger one, so I select the rectangle one, then I remove the stroke, so now it does not have a stroke. Okay, then we also have strokes like positions where I want to, I can also increase this weight. Now what is weight? Weight would be like thickness. Okay, let's imagine I put this 20. See, the inner one becomes thicker. Okay, and now I like put it inside, so the stroke is inside. See the difference between inside and outside? The inside would make the stroke inside that rectangle's boundary, while the outside would make it outside. Okay, and then we also have this advanced stroke settings. You can have like dash stroke, and then we have all these options. Okay, then we have effects. We can have shadows, drop shadows, layer blur. We can make it blur. We can have the background of it blur. And let's put something so you can go. Let's, for you, we put an ellipse. Okay, so we have an ellipse. Let's see if we can have something on it also. We fill it with, let's see, fill it with something. Rather we fill it with a gradient, and let's see, we can have a color. Let's do this one. Okay, okay, then we have this on white, or not white, this one. Okay, see, this, it's like this, and let's apply a stroke to it. Okay, we have a stroke. Let's say it's weight 5, and then make the stroke color red, so you can see the difference also. Okay, so the stroke color is red, or let's just make it white, easier to see, right? And now let's apply, uh, let's put this inside this. Okay, put this. So we have a rectangle too, so let's apply the layer blur. See, the layer blur is blurring the background because it's in the layer of this only. If the ellipse was behind this, okay, and the rectangle was here, where the rectangle one is this one, rectangle two is this one, and ellipse is in front of it. Okay, so let's make the rectangle two a little transparent, rather 40. Okay, so if I do not have layer blur, we have this shadow, have this, and then as we apply layer blur, it becomes blurred. Okay, then obviously we have export. If we want to export our design or something, so we would be able to export it. Let's make it like this. We make this, and then we group it, and then we obviously align it to its center, and then we have group 1, and then we have this rectangle 1, rectangle 2 in it, and then we select group 2, then we put it like here. Okay, yes, so it looks better, and like moderately better. And then we have all of these two. Okay, let's see if I want, like, so we have covered our rectangle and ellipse would also have the same options as the rectangle. Everything would work exactly same. The polygon would work like this, or exactly same of it. Like, see, if I do, it becomes a circle. And then we have star, obviously star, and then we can have double click on it, and then we enter in its vector mode, and then imagine if I pull this, it becomes like this. I do this, it becomes like this, and this is our weird star. Okay, so let's delete this because it's looking very weird. To delete any object, we use our delete button, which is on our keyboard. Then we have export. Okay, so we would be seeing export at the last. Okay, then we have this prototype option. Okay. Hmm. So we have covered these all these tools. We can obviously have images also. So let's see. We want our alpha game system. So the alpha is in icon file, so it's not able to recognize. Okay, then let's see if we can have something else. Let's see. We can have this HTML CSS thing. See, we have our HTML CSS also. Okay, then let's see. So this is an example. We covered these whole tools. Okay, then we have pen tool. Via pen tool you can make different type of objects. Usually you don't use this pen tool much. You use it in your vector editing. Like if there's a vector, you use this as to edit your vectors, and then you click on it to exit. Okay, so it's of pen tool. Pen tool is not used much in Figma, but you would be obviously using it in your Illustrator. It would be very useful in it. And then obviously for text we have our text tool. So we click on it, and then we have texts like hello. So this, now when we click on text, obviously we have a lot of different options. Okay, we have this entire section which has text options. Okay, so then there is our every font which we have. It's taking little time to load every font. Okay, so let's see. We can have this in this file, popular font, Google font variable installed by you also. So let's see, it's taking a little time to install every font or to make a preview of every font actually. Let's see if I want to make this bigger. So obviously we go to our text. Okay, then we increase its size. We have this button hello. Hmm. Nah, it's like it's not looking good. Oh, I think my internet is down. But anyways, when your internet does not work, it gives like this. The file is unsaved changes. So let's connect it real quick. So then we have our text tool. Then obviously we can have a lot of options. We can have more and more fonts as like as my internet connects. If my internet connects, I would have it would have been like synced to every font. And then we also have like line height, and then we have letter spacing. If I put this 9, see the space between the letters increased a little bit, right? So that's what letter spacing do. We can also have this negative, I think it decrease the spacing. Okay, then same we have for line height. Let's make this 0. Then we have line height. Okay, so what it does, it made this is a line here, and then it made the line height 90. Okay, then we have alignment. Obviously it will align to like this text box. So if I click center alignment, it goes to center of this text box. If I click on the right alignment, it goes right to of this box. And then we have these align in middle. Obviously like the constraint, it aligned it in middle on top. Obviously it has a little less options because it is working inside these in this text box. So you have this option also only, but obviously you can fix this box, or you can align this box to your like the background elements via the constraint options. Okay, then we have fill. Obviously I can make my text a little bit gradienty. Let's see, we have the reds, and we have the yellows, and then we okay, very bad combination, color combination, but it gets the job done as long as your people are understanding everything. it gets job done. Obviously you need to select better colors. You must see the color parity so that you can know. There are always online tools which would help to select right gradient colors. Okay, then we have stroke. Obviously it makes stroke, or it makes an under internal line. Okay, then same effects, we can have drop shadows, layer blur, inner shadow, background blur, everything. Okay, drop shadow, let's have a drop shadow here. Okay, so everything, let's remove this HTML CSS and also this vector. Let's put it here. Yes, so we have also covered our this text tool. Okay, so now we are going to now cover the comment tool. Okay, so what are comments used for? Like, like obviously the Figma. So why, if it did not have any use, it wouldn't be here, right? So why is this comment tool useful? Okay, so obviously Figma is a web application. You can also use its website. So Figma, what Figma allows and how it's different from Photoshop and other tools is because it's allow us to collaborate. Okay, so anyone can, like, if I share this file with my friends, like they could see this. So obviously if they have a suggestion or something, like if you are like giving this file to a client, uh, he or she can put suggestions. Obviously you should not give your design files to your client, but like before being paid or something. With this all a matter of something else, but like if you want to show your works to someone, you can obviously send this file and they might suggest improvements. So how they're going to do this? They are going to make a comment. They are going to click and make this looks nice. Okay, so whenever someone like hovers here via move tool, then they would be able to see, oh, Aditya has commented something on it. Okay, one more thing, we can obviously use this VHK or let's hatch. As I click H, it may convert it into this tool V. So obviously we can use this also to like change between our tool. I prefer the mouse one, but sometimes I also use this. Okay, so as we have covered every tool, this is your development mode. It is usually used for developers, used by developers when they are like ready to make what I ready to make an application, a displays or the flex and everything. Okay, so they can use like they can see how what they need to implement in their CSS files. Okay, but this is something which we do not use much, the designers do not use much. So let's check on the another like keyboard things which are going to help you. So one of the most important things is duplicates. Okay, so when you click alt, alternate on your keyboard, see you the cursor becomes something like this. You click and drag and see there is another duplicate of the object. You click again, then there is a duplicate. Same you can do this with frame. We have another frame. So that how the duplicate key work. Okay, then we have like wrapping up, kind of like now we are obviously at the end of our session. So now let's move into prototyping. Okay, what prototyping is, imagine you are like this, like created this whole entire screen and you want to show people, if you click on this page 2 you are going to be on this page 2. This prototyping is obviously like very complicated. So these so this requires and like an extensive practice also, but something like I would obviously introduce it to. So let's imagine if I click on like somewhere, anywhere. Let's make some changes. Okay, so imagine if I click on this circle, it should transition or it should become like this. Okay, so and I want to show everyone this. So I click on the circle, move to prototype mode, design, and then there's this prototype. I click on interaction and on click, what is going to do? It's going to navigate to, oh, what I would do is just this, and then I would drag it to this page. Okay, it is rather this trigger on drag, on click. I cannot on click because there is on click already, so I remove this on click, and then I can like do this. Okay, so what this flow will do is when I click this circle, it would send my page to this. Okay, obviously I want to have it a little better, so I would click it smart animates. What smart animate do is it will make it appear like the hello would have shifted here. Let's check this out. Obviously it would be better, so let's click on this, and then we click on this prototype, then this we click on this button. It's going to open the prototype mode. Okay, so let's wait a little for it to open. Okay, so our prototype mode is opened, so I click on this. Okay, see, it seems like the hello has moved here, but no, hello has not moved here. It's like two different things. This is obviously very basic prototyping. You would learn as you like do everything. You would learn about how to do a much better prototyping. You would obviously learn it when you're going to do projects, which we are going to do in our future sessions. So you would learn a lot about this and how to use it effectively. Okay, so this wraps up the introduction of the basic tools which are Figma, and now we are done with it. I will see you in the next session.